epidemic.com. Excited that you're back, especially for this fourth video because this is the sex video. We're going to talk all about sex today. We're going to learn about the science of how you can have better, more exciting, more energized sexual energy in your body. And it's even more than that. In this video, I really want you to learn exactly which gland and which hormones are responsible for your sex drive and your energy so that you can have that zest for life, that zest for your relationship, as much pleasure as you can handle, and as much powerful panty partying as you can stand, okay? Because that's really what it's all about. You know, as I said before, getting healthy for healthy's sake isn't that fun. Nobody eats broccoli because it's good for them. You want to do something because it's actually going to be doing something specific and creating a specific result. And at least that's what motivates me and all my clients. And I'm hoping that by teaching you some science, both in the last video and in this one, you might start to make some new connections about why you want to start taking care of yourself in a particular way. So, because of course then you'll have energy for things like having that life that you want, having those mind-blowing orgasms that you want. And yes, there will be a separate video, I'm quite sure, at some point where I get to talk to you about all the different kinds of mind-blowing orgasms you can have. You can at least have 4. But again, another video, another time. So I really want to talk to you about this thing that I've noticed in my patients over the years and really understanding how they have been struggling with this fatigue that hasn't been given a name. And I want you to understand that there is an epidemic among us. It's a silent epidemic, and it's called adrenal fatigue. And it refers, of course, to your adrenal glands, which we're going to learn about in a second, becoming exhausted by this rampant amount of stress in our lives. And I don't just mean the stress that we can't do anything about, because let's face it, there is stress that you can't do anything about. You might have a stressful job or stressful family things going on. But there's also the internal stressors that come from diet and lifestyle choices that you can completely control and therefore mitigate the amount of stress that your body has to deal with, thereby taking some of the pressure off of the adrenal glands, which are trying so hard to help you manage all of that stress. So let's learn a little bit about the adrenal glands so that you can start understanding how to better care for them. So let's take a look at this lovely diagram over here. This is your adrenal gland. And your adrenal gland can be subdivided into 2 major parts. The medulla, which is the innermost part, and the cortex, which is this outer layer of 3 zones. We're going to focus on these middle 2 zones of the cortex, the cortisol-producing zone, which is represented by the orange circle, and the DHEA-producing zone, which is represented by the red circle. And I want to talk to you about the relationship between cortisol and DHEA for a moment, because this is why so many of us are developing adrenal fatigue. Remember I mentioned to you before about those internal stressors, the diet and lifestyle choices that might be affecting your adrenal gland. Well, I want you to know exactly how that happens. So let's say you're eating some food that's causing your blood sugar to spike wildly and then drop dramatically, all right? At that moment, your adrenal gland is going to notice that there's been a shift in blood sugar. And in addition to that, you are also managing the stress in your life, right? You've got a stressful phone call, a stressful meeting, something stressful happening. So all of this is being registered in the nervous system as hyperactivity. The adrenal gland is going to want to support you by secreting cortisol. Cortisol is a hormone that talks to the sugar that's stored as fat in your fat deposits along your body, so your butt, your hips, your thighs, those areas that we tend not to love so much. They're actually there on reserve just in case you might need a little extra sugar to give you some pickup for these higher stress moments where your diet's not supporting you and your lifestyle is kind of making you run ragged. This is fine in an episodic situation if you're having a few of these moments every now and again, right, where you've got some mismanaged blood sugar, something majorly stressful is happening. Your body's designed to handle this on occasion being the key. If this starts to persist every day, you have poor diet, poor blood sugar management, and of course your stress levels are through the roof, and that doesn't have to look so dramatic. A lot of women are such great multitaskers that in and of itself is a brain-damaging, very stressful activity, okay? If that starts happening every day, your adrenal gland is going to become very, very overly active, secreting too much cortisol throughout the day, which will confuse that HPA axis conversation that we talked about before, and start throwing off your DHEA levels, which is an interesting relationship to notice. So DHEA, the relationship is straightforward. As cortisol levels continue to go up, DHEA levels start to decline. And why that's significant is because DHEA is the mother hormone. And from this hormone is derived a very important thing for women. 90%, in fact, of the testosterone that you manufacture as a woman for things like your mind-blowing orgasms, for your sex drive, for the energy to get up and get started with things, for having great muscle definition and muscle mass in the body, all comes from this testosterone that's manufactured from DHEA. And estrogen is also produced as well from this mother hormone, but you get more estrogen from other parts of your endocrine system as well. So testosterone is the interesting thing to focus on here, because if your libido is lagging, if all of a sudden you're not having the quality of orgasms that you've had before, if you have no energy to get out of bed that in the way that you used to, or you're finding that at 3 o'clock you're exhausted, but then at 11 o'clock at night you're wired, your adrenal gland has gone haywire, and you need to learn how to support that using food as medicine to stabilize that blood sugar, heal that adrenal situation, and then start doing the other work to support the rest of your endocrine system. So I hope that you learned a little bit today so far about the adrenal gland and what it really is there for you. It's your battery pack for life. It is the gland of vitality, of sensuality. This is a gland that every woman should protect and preserve with her life, because it's what makes her feel the most vital and vibrant. And there are things that you can do to safeguard that I want to teach you in the protocol and in the program that I hope you'll take on with me. Here's an interesting story that I think should really drive home the significance as to why this is such an important conversation. We get phone calls and emails all over the world and from women everywhere who are looking for solutions, natural solutions. And just a few months ago, I got a call from a very young woman up in the Boston area she was 31, completely lost her sex drive, her sexual response was completely missing, and her energy was totally lacking. And she went to a very fancy sex clinic up in Boston, and they told her that she needed to be put on some steroids to help her deal with this issue that she was dealing with. And she contacted us because she was thinking perhaps there would be a different way that she could approach this without having to take such intense medication. And I, of course, when I got this email, just was so overwhelmed with a driving, blinding passion to intervene at this crossroads that she happens to be in at the moment. She's deciding the rest of the quality of the rest of her life, right? Is she going to be relegated to relying on this medication to kind of temporarily create a Band-Aid for her, or is she actually going to take the right approach and get to the underlying causes of why her adrenal glands have broken down in the first place, such as she can start to heal and really recover totally her original energy and her sex response and all of that. And so I wrote her a very passionate note, and we spoke on the phone, and I'm happy to say she's doing quite well without taking the medication. But it's so, so remarkable. If you get one thing from today's video beyond the science, and that's all very interesting, and you'll learn a lot more in the program, I really want you to understand that without the right information at the right time, and frankly, every day you need the right information to be making these life decisions, you are going to be making choices about your health that have repercussions that are far-reaching in terms of your life cycle as a woman. Things that will impact your fertility, things that will impact your sex drive, things that will impact your energy levels, things that will impact the quality of your perimenopausal transition. And all of that needs to be learned ASAP so that you can make the right choices. It is my belief that if you learn how to care for your uniquely feminine parts as early as possible and whenever you can, that you will start to create an environment in your body that promotes so much hormonal wellness that you will start to have the vitality, the sex drive, the energy, the ability to create and manifest in your life that is your birthright. So I'm really excited that you stayed and listened today. I hope you learned a lot. And in the next video, I'm going to talk to you a lot about this exact protocol that I've been referencing throughout the videos. I want you to know exactly what it is, and I want you to know how you can get your hands on it. So until we speak again, I want you to take really good care of your elegantly complex, gorgeous, beautiful self, and I'll talk to you soon. Baby, you're sailing to